we make an RPG, a 2D RPG in this stream. So we have, this is probably the video to watch, the story so far, but we do have other commands as well. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask. I will happily answer. And that goes for anybody who is here for the first time today. Okay, so I'm gonna get straight into it now. Okay, so there's something I wanted to post first. I was meant to post this yesterday, but I didn't. Because I promised that I was gonna post a scene for you guys to see if you wanted to, and give feedback if you wished. But it never happened because I'm one person, and sometimes, you know, things, it gets hard to keep up with everything. I'm not a robot, so I'm gonna say update. Apologies. Folks, I always feel weird saying the word folks. There's something weird about it. Apologies. All. How do you do an underline thing in Discord? I think it's that, isn't it? Yeah, it is. The scene. I'm a little late finishing. And I'll say polishing, because it really is just polishing with this scene now. So it'll be a while longer before it gets posted in this channel. Bear with me. I'm only one ill. That's so silly. Thank you for the project, Commander Asriel. Appreciate you. Bear with me. I'm only one human. I'll make sure to give you all that you all know on here and during stream when I get it posted, so nobody misses out. Okay, I'll do. Get rid of the update bit, we don't need that. Okay. Righty-ho. So other than the Carol flashback scene, which is what we were working on before the current scene that we're doing the dialogue for, I feel like my mind's just got done blank now and I forgot what I was saying. But yes, we were working on that Carol's flashback scene, and it's 97% or so now. Just finishing it off, polishing it. That is one scene I do want to get posted in the Discord, because I kind of want to do that regularly every time we do a new scene in the game. Pop in there, a video of it, so people can have the opportunity to give a bit of feedback, because it feels like what we should do. It's a community game, yeah. So that's what we'll probably do for this scene as well when this one gets done. And I think that today, well, I'm aiming for today to be the last stream that we did this dialogue. I'm hoping we can finalise this dialogue today, and then we can begin the cutscene. And the cutscene for making this scene is going to be easier than the Carol flashback scene, because it's less action based. It's less of a challenge in terms of putting it together. It's more straightforward, so it probably won't be as time consuming as the Carol flashback scene. Also because there's no mapping to do for example, we had to do a whole farm for Carol's flashback scene because it was taking place in a whole new area, that scene was. But this is taking place in a scene that we made ages ago in the Everbloom Forest. So I could see the cutscene being done and dusted in the space of a week, maybe. So that'll be what we do next week and this week. Like I say, if we finish this today. Neffel, how are you doing? Hey Rose, are you going to sell this or what are you trying to do with it? It's a game, so it will be released as on some kind of store. I'm not sure which one yet. I've got to do my research into what one's going to work best and whatever one lets me have my game on there as well. And it's episodic, so it'll be released in segments every time we have new content, a new episode. So this is episode 1 and we're making good progress, but it's still very early days, so no release date announcement just yet. I said yesterday that when the summer's gone, once the summer's passed, I'll probably have more of an idea then about a release date for episode 1. We'll see where we are and how much of the game we've got through at that time, because the end of the summer, I mean, we're only in April, aren't we? So we're still in spring. We've got a few months to get some stuff done before we see where we are. How are you doing anyway, Neffel? I hope you're well. Okay, and I also want to apologise for anybody who's waiting for their character and their character sheet to be done. I know Neffel is one of those people. Asriel's already got his character because he's walking here across. Because it'll be so cool to have you guys. I mean, there's about 10 of you, I think, that have character sheets to be done. So we'll have way more like of you guys walking across the screen here once I get them done. You appear every time when you're hanging out on the stream, so you've got to be in the stream for your character to be here. But yes, I'm gonna get those done. That is kind of one of my key goals, to get some of those sheets and those characters done, and because it'll be a really good job done. I was meant to have started them straight after the website launch, but got carried away with tons of other stuff related to the project, but it's definitely priority. National, how are you doing? Dialogue Day, good seeing you. It finally rained last night. How are you? Yay, rain. I'm doing good. I have a sore mouth. I've got a big fat ulcer thing right there in that spot. But I'm all right. I'm actually talking and it's not too bad. I feel like when you're used to the pain, it doesn't matter. Eventually you get used to it. You build up a tolerance. How are you, National Mars? And we have a question of the week, guys, this week. So we had a good chat about it yesterday. What is everybody's favourite character alignment? So for those that don't know, character alignments are things like, lawful good, chaotic evil, true neutral, your typical D&D alignments, which a lot of fiction is inspired by. So I love all alignments because I believe if a character's written well, they'll always be entertaining no matter what the alignment. But I tend to be drawn to neutral characters. I like true neutral and chaotic neutral. But I like chaotic good characters as well. But I also have a soft spot for lawful good characters. I don't tend to like chaotic evil characters or chaotic there's another chaotic one. But it depends. It all depends, because sometimes there's exceptions. Depends all on how they're written. Thank you, Toss, for the follow. I appreciate that. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Feel free to ask any questions, folks. LOL, you have these captions. Is it because you're not feeling well or because you talk so soft? I talk soft, get out. No, I have captions because it's the right thing to do. Some people are hard of hearing and some people have to mute me because they work. So closed captions are something that is kind of a lot of things streamers are starting to get in general now because of those reasons. So they're there for people who need them and require them. I think I've got quite a loud voice if you ask me. So Personally, I like to mess with the standard alignments. Currently, I'm writing a character who's lawful good, but with chaotic sense of humour. Yeah, sometimes like merging them is good, and I think we mentioned that yesterday, because there's always a risk of when you put a character into a box that they can end up a little bit stereotypical and generic. So sometimes mixing things up like that is good. It's like tropes. I love tropes. I'm a big nerd for them. But sometimes I don't use them to like rigidly go by that structure. I tend to like just use them as inspiration, as a tool. You have an angel voice. Thank you, Neville. I do. I honestly get told off all the time for talking loud by my sister. She's like, oh God, be quiet, because I have a real habit of raising my voice, especially when I get excited. And I'm like, I'm sorry, it's because I stream and it's made me get used to being really loud. So, Oracle, how are you doing? It's good to see you. I hope you're doing good, Oracle, having a good week. But I do have a sweet voice. I know what you mean. I do have a sweet voice. So even though I get loud, it's not exactly rough, is it, my voice? Okay, so, folks, we're doing dialogue. We've been doing it for the last few streams. And I like to spend time on this because it's super important that we have entertaining scenes. It's like a big deal to me to not have fluff and meaningless scenes in the game. And someone put it like perfectly yesterday, because I said this is a dialogue heavy game, but that doesn't mean there's unnecessary fluff just because it's dialogue heavy. And the person basically said, oh, so basically you mean dialogue driven rather than dialogue filled, and that's exactly what it is. It's a dialogue driven game. So I probably would prefer to call it that rather than dialogue heavy, because when you say something's dialogue heavy or dialogue filled, people think, oh no, am I going to be like getting bored and pressing enter to skip all this dialogue sometimes? And that is what I totally want to avoid, guys. I want every dialogue box to have to like create excitement in the play and be like, what's going to happen next, and like that. Anything that doesn't need to be there can be cut, but at the same time, yes, there will be a lot of dialogue because this is a game of characters, and it's all about good story, and it's going to be lore rich and all of that stuff. Hi Max, how are you doing? Welcome to stream. This programme, it's actually a funny question now because it has two names. This programme has. It used to be draw.io, but now it's diagrams.net. It's only just changed names the last couple of days. So, draw.io, diagrams.net. So I think that will send you to the same link, probably. I'm going to still call it draw.io though, because that's how I know it. And we use this program for writing our dialogue because it's just very flexible. It's easy to use and very flexible. And yes, there's other softwares out there that do similar things, but I find there's limitations with them. And it's not without its flaws. It can lag a bit sometimes and be a bit annoying, but it's still better than anything else I've seen. So we just use this because our game has branching paths. Our dialogue, we have like choices in our game that create branching paths, and it's a good way to keep it all organised to use boxes and flows like this. So this is what we've been working on. I always put the little sprite of the character here because visually that keeps things fun, seeing who's saying what. So we are coming towards the end of the scene now. There's still a fair bit to go, but I'm thinking we can potentially close this today and finish this scene, or at least, get the first draft done. But there's still parts where I'm like, maybe We can have a better dialogue line in certain areas. I've kind of labelled them with these boxes for thoughts. And I do have a dialogue command actually, so you can have a nosy if you want to see it in full. I can't imagine your angry voice. Have I ever been angry? Admit it. Can you admit it, guys, if I have been angry? I'm very curious now. Like, what's the angriest you've seen me on stream? Have I ever got like that? Thank you. This looks so organised. Thank you. Well, I think that's a very nice thing to say. I try my best to keep it all organised, because if it wasn't, things would just get super stressful, wouldn't they? So and also, this is my new hero, this little box here, all these little few boxes, because I discovered this over the weekend and I'm like, yeah, this actually is really effective. And I just filled everything in, and I found some stuff out about the scene that actually didn't stick out to me at first, but this is something that a lot of writers, not a lot, but some super good, credible writers recommend to do with your scenes. And this doesn't have to just be for a novel. It can obviously be for a game, for a movie, or anything at all that involves a story with your scenes. And it's meant to kind of uncover the internal stuff that's going on beneath the surface of your scene. Because these two first boxes are pretty obvious. This is the action, this is what's happening and what we all know. And they're very straightforward to fill in, but these bits are the challenge, because it like gets to the, you know, that important internal stuff that you don't always see at first glance. But that bit, those two bottom boxes, are what make the story people get hooked, basically. And without this, if there's not this, it's like your scenes would just be a bunch of random events that had no meaning. And that's how people just give up and think, I'm not hooked on this. Yeah. You know, have you ever read a book or played a game or watched a movie and you've just not got hooked? It's probably because they've lacked these, you know? So I've been doing my research, because I'm no pro, but I've been doing my research, and that this is what people have said, and they know their stuff, and I'm kind of going to go with this sort of thing with all our scenes, and I think it could be super effective. It ensures that every scene matters, and you're not just putting scenes in for the sake of it. And it also makes sure that you have something really layered happening, loads of, having subplots as well as the main plot really layers it all up, and all of this internal stuff as well. So I filled it in now. Yesterday it was only sort of half filled out, but it's all filled in now. And I admitted something since I did this, that this made me focus more on Carol, the barrel, who is this lovely, beautiful barrel lady here. Let's zoom in on her. She is, I'm going to just say, she is our main character of the game. We do have a hero. Our hero is us, and he's custom. You get to choose what he looks like or what she looks like, and they're kind of the main character because you're controlling them. They're the protagonist, but they are a bit of a blank slate, and they are driven by the choices you make in the game. They don't really have, they're not like an active part of the story themselves, but Carol is. She's like the actual main NPC here, and she's kind of become the focus of the whole story. The main plot is all about Carol's backstory, and the goal, finding her family, is kind of the main MacGuffin and motivator of the whole thing right now. So yeah, this made me realise how much of a focus this scene actually is on Carol rather than the fruits, because at first I was like, it's all about the fruits, guys. But no, the fruits are not the key part of this scene. They're just the minor NPCs. They make it fun. They're the first boss of the game, so yeah, they are important, but they are not everything. It's actually Carol who is, and Rose as well. Probably secondary to Carol, because Rose, there's stuff in this scene that, you know, reveals a bit about Rose too. And Carol and Rose are our key characters so far, in all honesty, and they will continue to be, because they'll still be in the game after this scene, unlike the fruits, who are exclusive to this scene, and we probably won't see again, but might. If you keep them alive, you have the choice to do that if you want. This is great. I've been writing this whole quarantine thing, and it's nice to listen to ideas about story structure. Oh, thank you, Scratch Mechanics. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Feel free to ask any questions at all. I will be happy to answer. Well, hello then. Hi, Real. How are you doing today? Good to see you all. I appreciate you all being here, because this is just like my nerdy space, you know. And I'm always honoured when people actually genuinely take an interest, because, you know, it's quite, you know, flattering. So thank you guys for being here. Yes, I think Twitch, I have to be honest here, there's not enough focus on writing on Twitch. And we're in the science and technology category because, yes, we're making a game. So, yes, it's game dev. But I'm going to admit, we're very, very, very story focused here rather than techie, like most of the streams in science and technology. But unfortunately, there's no category for story writing on Twitch. Very, very unfortunate, you know. Because I've spoke to people. Some people have been very interested in streaming NaNoWriMo stuff when November's been here. They've also, you know, I've heard people say that there's not even a category for it, damn it. Come on, Twitch, add one. Because what I'd do if there was, I would stream under that category while I'm doing the writing stuff like now. But when we switch to more techie stuff like battle systems and mechanics and all that, game features and all that, because we do have our streams where it's more like that with the actual game, then I'd stream under science and technology probably, because you know, it's more relevant then, because science and technology is a great category. I've met so many awesome folk who come in the stream from there. But I do like sometimes think when we do this writing stuff, it's not entirely relevant maybe, but it's still game dev, so, you know, we're not too off topic. Yeah, I would love a world building writing category. That would just be so good. I mean, it's like there's a D&D like thing, and I think D&D people would love that category too, not just writers. But there already is a Dungeons and Dragons category, isn't there? But, you know, sometimes you just want to nerd out and talk about world building, and I think it'd be such a good category. Who wants to like join a sort of petition thing with me to get Twitch to do it? I wish, in that regard, I wish I had a bigger following, because I would love to be able to be listened to in regards to something as cool as that, because that would make my year if there was a writing or world building category added to Twitch for these sort of things in particular. But I don't have the power to be listened to, so it's unfortunate. I suppose there's no harm in trying. I might write a tweet later, so keep an eye out, guys. We seriously need a writing category, not just a tag, and more writing tags. Yeah, even with the tags, like, I don't know how much attention people pay to the tags, and still I feel that we need that category, because it makes it more of a bigger deal to actually have a category. And, you know, if people pay attention to the categories, don't they? And it could make more people interested in doing writing streams if they saw there wasn't a writing category there. And that's just really cool to think more people could do that, because there's not enough. And really, I don't see it. I don't see writing or world building streams. And if there is, they're probably just in other categories, like random ones, because there's no category for it, which is we'll never find them unless they have a tag, of course. But I don't personally search by tags, and maybe other people do though, but I don't. Maybe I should more. Paints with her own blood. Excuse me, what? That sounds twisted. Rose is a vampire. That is why she paint with her own blood, because she doesn't actually have any paints herself. So that's really the only way she can paint. There's a petition already. I'll send the link if I can find it again. Oh, there is. Thank you, Master Emerald. I would super sign that. So, yeah, give me the link when you find it. Yeah, I don't think I look at tags like ever. So, yeah, it seems like tags are super underlooked. We need a category, guys. We need it. It's still twisted. Well, I guess I'm twisted then. What's the problem with that? Right, okay. Right, so that's filled in. But now we're gonna put closer to the scene, and we are getting there, guys. Oh yeah, one thing I did want to do is think of cute baby words, because I've only got we at the moment. And I'm sure there's more than that, because I want Blueberry to be as cute as possible. He's the one that talks like a baby, because he is a baby. And I'm trying my best to give all the characters their own voice in that regard. But I can't think of any others except for we. So guys, if you do know any cute baby sort of noises, dialogues, then feel free to say and I'll add them to the list. Other than that, there's a couple of bits that might need changing or made better, but I'm just glad we've got it filled in. And we had a choice at this point, and we need to do the bravery route, and we've got notes here on what those routes are, which if I got rid of the grid view you'd be able to see better. And we have some puns down here that we could potentially fit into. Where are they? So there's a few more dialogue lines. If there's an appropriate space to put them in, then we will. Sometimes it's very challenging because chat have given some really awesome lines of dialogues, like totally random without context, and I thought, yeah, we're gonna have that. But finding a place for them to keep it all relevant, and you know, that can be a challenge. But surprisingly, we managed to with a lot of the puns, which is super cool. I use a writing tag to search by, but only that one because I can't find writers any other way. Yeah, well, I'm going to start doing that now as well, Master Emerald, because otherwise I want to find more. I do. I want to find more as well. David, thank you so much for the host. How are you doing, David? It's so good to see you. Yours is about to have a category of its own, rather than writing or S&T. It'll be Raindrop Chronicles. Yeah, and no one would ever find me. I think that's the challenge as well. We have to make sure that we at least get some exposure in the category we're in. And science and technology has been great for that, in all honesty, for me personally. A lot of people have come to the streams from that, which is, I'm very honoured about that. Hey Rose, digging the side tail today. How's it going? Thank you, Diver. Got my little piggy tails in. I'm doing decently, apart from a bit of a ulcer on my mouth. Everything else is going good. A real banana problem instead of a pickle. LOL. Yeah, that's funny. Where's pickle? Have we got pickle? I don't think, I swear someone had a pickle joke, you know. I swear someone did. And I swear I put that down. But that is a good one. I like it. I do like the funny words. Sometimes I'm worried about overdoing it, but it's good. Like Carol says son of a bucket, and I love that one. Son of a bucket. Holy buckets is a good one too. Can't find the link right now, but might come across it later. Yeah, if you do, feel free to pop it in the Discord, Master Emerald, because I'd love to sign it. Okay, so no problem, just saying. Well, let me give you a tip. If you want to say something, make sure it's something that is not an asshole comment. Just say it. Hey, it's me, Chubbs. How you doing, Chubbs? It's good to see you. How's your day going? Okay. So, where are we gonna... Okay, I think we need to work on the bravery route now. So, because that'll help a bunch. I don't think this should... Probably not go this close. I think we could have something else. The fruits line explain that they want to paint a world where all magical creatures that fires can flee to, protecting them from humans. Okay, so that they lie in that one. In fact, lemon, that could actually work here. And I love that dialogue line because because, you know, sour taste in my mouth. Perfect for lemon to say. Just got out of bed, it's going well. I was a bit late getting out of bed myself today. Yeah, it happens. We all need those lions. Okay, so if lemon does say that, blueberry has to say something after lemon. I have made a promise to myself that every time lemon speaks, blueberry always says something. It's to kind of show their close relationship. It's the way that we're doing it. Hi Lord, how you doing? Oh, thank you for the follow, by the way. Was it you that sent me the DM earlier? Thank you for that, by the way. Once I get a bit of time, I'll have a peek. I hope it was you that sent it anyway. I'll be embarrassed if it was someone else. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. Yes, I did. Yay. Okay. I don't know if we'll have a good pun for this one, do we? Every time Blueberry spoke so far, it's kind of had a pun in with it, which works. That it's a misspelling because he's a baby, so I like that. So he says he got a bad peeling. We're really grateful. And he did say a pun there, but doesn't have to always say one. I like that one a lot. Hopefully we can find a slot for that one. Well, I am drawing a blank on what Blueberry could say here, but we gotta have something. We'll think. Sometimes it doesn't always come to us immediately, and that's always fine. But how is everyone? Yay! I am doing good now. I'm streaming. I always get super distracted and into them. Before I know it, it's 6 PM. That happens. It feels like I'm streaming for like an hour, but 3 hours have gone by instead. Yeah, you seem to have a great deal of insight for story and kind of need a feminine look at my story to get the main character and romantic aspects of the plot right. Oh yeah, well, I'm very flattered. In all honesty, I am no pro. I just, you know, I self-teach. Well, I'm self-taught. I just do my research, see what works, and try my best, I guess. But yes, I honestly recommend this. I can always send you to some links to this sort of thing, just because it keeps things super organised and gives every scene a meaning. And I rambled on about this at the start of stream about 20 minutes ago, so I'm not going to talk too much about it again, but that's kind of my new favourite thing now for making scenes. That little grid there. Blueberry blows a raspberry after the sour comment. Yeah, very sour taste. That's all I got from the pun centre of my brain so far. That's a good one, actually. Chub Cheeks, why aren't you like making puns as a day job? I swear you're the one that's you've come up with most of them. And I wish I had that talent, because I really do not. When it comes to puns, I'm bad. That's my weakness. Maybe something about a fruit melody. If not now, it might be good later. Not sure if it works because I've been distracted by work. Well, I appreciate the input anyway, guys. It's always valuable. I do like the berry sour toast one. What do you guys think? And I kind of also like there being some kind of action, like blowing a raspberry. I don't know if that'll be too ambitious, but I doubt it. After I did Carol the Barrel's flashback scene, nothing's ambitious anymore, because I went all out with that scene and I did some crazy things with that hijacking that I never thought I could pull off in RPG Maker. I thought it would be too limited, but I did it. The berry sour taste is good. Yeah, because it just fits. It's not like overly, like, it's very simple, and I like that. It's not confusing. See, this is one of the problems with Draw. See how the text has gone small there when I got rid of the previous text in the box? Sometimes that happens, so I have to keep one letter there so it doesn't change. And then I have to delete it. A berry sour taste. Oh, isn't he cute at the moment? Until he shows what a crazy little baby infant terrible he is, which will be right at the end before the battle. We'll keep the player thinking he's cute and adorable for now. You know, that's the trick, to subvert expectations. The visual gag would be good for the future meeting with the future. Yeah, I'm all for the visual gag, so I like that idea, National Mars, to have some sort of action, and it kind of makes cutscenes exciting, and to do it, like, to have some kind of visual and little animation happening, rather than have them standing there like talking heads. And when we do make the cutscene next week, I'll try and make sure we have some stuff going on in between the talking, just to add to it. So yeah, I did like it. I don't know if we've got a way to fit something like that in without it seeming random for this particular bit, but the idea was quite cool. Oh, you kept infant terrible? I did. That's what we've given. That's the trope we've given to Blueberry on our scale of evil here, and it's always like, I personally am a nerd for tropes. I know not everybody's a big fan, because I think it's, you know, it gets a bit cliche, but I always think, you know, you got to have something to go off, haven't you? Something to get your ideas rolling, and yes, Blueberry's the infant terrible. And without having those tropes, we'd have some very flat fruit characters, you know. It just gives a bit more to them. It helps. And it makes them all very different from each other, because I feel they're all very different in personality. They're not all the same. I'm curious who everybody's favourite fruit is. Okay, so lemon, then meddling is leaving a sour taste in my mouth, a very sour taste. He's always coming up with the puns right after lemon, and I like that little small touch. I'm kind of proud of that. Okay, so, but we gotta, you know, be careful. We gotta make sure we stay on topic, and don't drag it out too much. But yeah, I like the little touches. Nothing wrong with having them there. Is this old man enough? Like, I sometimes don't know if I can do the voice of an old man very well. I might do some Googling and see what old men characters say and take a bit of that for inspiration. Because let's not talk about that kind of sums up what I'm trying to get there, but we could always make that even better, we'll see. But it's okay. Right, so at this point, I'd say someone's going to say, start the lie, because we have that the fruits lie and make up a reason for why they need Rose. Because, you know, the hero with this particular choice has been very confrontational. And the fruits are automatically going to get a bit defensive. And they're like, yeah, we got to make up a lie here. Unlike these two, you've been more wise in your approach. And they actually open up and tell me the truth in this top one. I think they're sort of doing this one too, but there's going to be it's a little bit different, the dialogue that's going to be said, but it will all lead to the same outcome, basically, which is a battle between the fruits. Maybe, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to have things be a little bit different depending on the route that you went for. Like, I had a random thought that, who knows, maybe depending on the route you picked, the battle, they might have more, their stats might differ just a touch. But that, I don't know if that would be too ambitious, but we'll say it was just an idea, just so it kind of adds more to having these choices, not just the plus points in the traits and a bit of differing dialogue. Are you reading this nice? Wow, what have I said that's nice? What have I said that's nice? Okay, I'm trying to think which one we should work on, because I'm kind of doing them all at the same time right now. Kind of work on whichever one springs to mind of something to write. Okay, so if the one is gonna lie, it's gonna be Plum. Plum is the intelligent, wise wizard of the group, so he will. Let's get our grid back. So he's the one who's going to be getting to depth about things. It suits him most to be the explainer. Okay. Right, so we got the fruits lie, but obviously as a player we're not going to realise the lying right now. Not until the end. Okay, they explain that they want to paint a world where all magical creatures of the forest can flee to, protecting them from humans. The party like this idea because it also means the magical creatures will be gone and no. Okay, so we might need to mention part of what's in the wisdom root though for this to make sense. We have to say that we need the rose's blood so we can make a magic paint to bring them to life. So I kind of see this wisdom root being a mixture of the bravery and compassion root. I'm hungry already, you know, which is weird. I'm not usually hungry this early. In the bravery route, a fruit must make fun of a player to engage them into a battle. Can it be done? A fruit must make fun of a player to engage them into battle. How do you mean by that? Expand on that. Just because it's a bit vague in my mind, that image is, and I'm very interested to know more. But welcome, how are you doing? Okay, so we need, okay, so we need, I'm not going to say we need Rose's blood because they don't know her as Rose. So they'll have to give her another name. I'm going to just write down this really roughly at first and we can tidy it up after. We need your friend's blood. For a magic paint, to make a magic paint that, I don't want it to be too wordy, so we got to be careful. The worst thing in my opinion is all like information and exposition when it's super wordy and like, oh, but if we can make lore explanation sound interesting, that is always a big plus in my opinion. So hopefully we can do that, hopefully we can pull that off. We need your friends, because the way it's written here is too wordy in my opinion. We can definitely make this sound better in the dialogue. Your friend is the final ingredient we need to bring our paintings to life. We don't even have to get all into the wordy details of like saying we need her blood, mix it with all the secret herbs. Like that kind of might be too descriptive. And we might want to get to the point a little bit more. That basically sums it up. Your friend is the final ingredient we need to bring our paintings to life. Our masterpiece to life. That could actually work better. Our masterpiece to life. Because that's part of the lie. This masterpiece is a lie in this particular route. Fantasia, Rose, I have been busy and missing you. Are you busy? What are you up to? Thank you so much for that sub. That's 30 months, a big 3-0. Holy buckets. Holy buckets is now my favourite way of saying holy, because you know, it's cool. Okay. Thank you so much, Fantasia. You're the best. I appreciate that ridiculous amount of support. I want to see some hype in chat for Fantasia. And thank you so much for stopping in, even though you're busy. It means a lot to me, you know. It means a lot to me. Thank you, Azrael, for the hype as well. What are you using to make your game? Mario asks. Here is the command for that, Mario. Feel free to ask any questions at all. Okay, your friend is the fine ingredients we need to bring our masterpiece to life. Don't know if that's perfect. We could make it less wordy. Who knows? But it'll do for now. So basically, in that short dialogue box, we summed all that up. We didn't get into the nitty-gritty. We just simplified it and got straight to the point. This leads to the party asking more questions, and when they find out what the fruits are up to, a battle begins. Yeah, that is for the wisdom root, but like I says, the wisdom root will probably be a mix of the bravery in this one. They want to paint a world where all magical creatures of the forest can flee to, protecting them from humans. Okay. ... Yeah, Plum is the master of ellipses. Someone summed that up yesterday. He kind of uses them. It's his voice. we don't want to overdo it. Like, we don't have one there, but he's not aggressive. He doesn't use exclamation marks like Blueberry. Yay! Thank you for the commands, Azrael. Appreciate that. Oops, trying to get comfy on my chair. So, I'm thinking, should Plum be the one that explains all this lie, or should it be somebody else? It's got to be somebody appropriate. Lemon and Blueberry have already spoke. The only ones that haven't are Tomato and Apple. Apple is not going to be the one that lies, because he's the only one with good intentions. And Tomato is just a kid. He's not going to be explaining it. So yeah, it'll probably be Plum. And there's probably going to be... I'm going to be unsatisfied probably with how little Apple and Tomato have spoke. Because it definitely feels like it's Blueberry, Plum and Lemon doing a lot of the talking. But we can always just slot in some extra dialogue where appropriate at the end. We'll just get that foundation in first from start to end of this scene. Any improving we'll do after. Okay, so your friend is the final ingredient we need to bring our masterpiece to life. I always have to put that random letter there so that the font doesn't change. Oh, a good way to break this up would be to talk about the masterpiece. I mean, Tomato could, but I don't think we'd be making Tomato sound evil enough yet at this point. He just sounds like a bit like a spoiled teenager right now. But I think we can go further perhaps at some point. Yeah, it's probably going to be apple as well that makes the party realise it's all a big lie. This bit here. Tomato seems like he'd be good at yelling the most in battle. Yeah, he's definitely Mr. Rage, that's for sure. And he's on the front line as well, because the positions that they're in here, this little formation we've got going here, that is actually how they look in battle. So lemon and tomato on the front line, you got our magical rage users at the back, and we got our leader in the middle. How many hours of gameplay are you making? Never-ending hours of gameplay. It's going to be the longest game that's ever existed. No, it's just hard to say, because we kind of just do this as we go, and we stop whenever we feel the game's come to an end. We don't have an ending. If you look at the website, we talk a little bit more about that, but I definitely could go more into it on an FAQ page, I think. But it's you know, we just do as we go along, to sum it up, and we don't have the answers to questions like that at this stage, because the danger with planning and saying we're going to do it like this, we're going to have it be 100 hours or 200 hours. The danger with that is that you put expectations on yourself, and that can create pressure. You feel like, oh, when we're only like 1% there right now, and that kind of pressure I don't think is good. And also because, in all honesty, we don't know, and it would be a lie to say a certain amount of hours when there is literally no idea how many episodes we're going to have in our game yet, because it is episodic, which also means that there's a lot, you know, in terms of how long it's going to be. Could be 5 episodes, could be 10 episodes, could be 3 episodes, could be 12 episodes, you know, we don't know how far we're going to take it at this point. And I think that structure's great, because it keeps it super enjoyable for me. It really does, to not be tied down to too many rigid expectations. Okay, I had a thought that Tomato could pop in and say something about the masterpiece before Plum continues with an explanation of what the masterpiece is, because it could kind of break up a long lengthy explanation from Plum that's about to happen here. But I just don't know what he'd say. He'd be like really arrogant, maybe something like, yeah, this masterpiece is just, it's nothing on you guys. Or just something really monstrous. That would be even better if he said something really monstrous, because he is, you know, he's the highest on our scale of evil here. He has not shown how evil he is yet, and it would be really, you know, I'd like him to. Blueberry hasn't either. Blueberry's been nothing but sweet so far, but he's going to be the shocker at the end. Just before the battle, he's going to say something horrifying that you never would have saw coming. But Tomato's a little bit more obvious with his evilness than Blueberry, I'd say. Hi, Amazing. It's so nice outside. Yeah, I wouldn't know, because I'm a massive hermit with all my curtains shut. So, big old recluse. Nature's mocking us. I always stay inside even when it's sunny and you don't have to stay outside. Like, I stay in by choice. The hermit life. That's me. Okay. it's a challenge. Like I said, I'd love Tomato to pop up and say something about the masterpiece now, and it is a challenge for me because I do not have an evil bone in my body, you know. And when you're not evil, getting into the voice of an evil character is probably one of the hardest things. But with experience, I'm going to master this. But we got to be, it's making me wonder as well, maybe not evil, because we, like we say, we're lying here. We don't want to reveal evil intentions too soon, perhaps. But nothing wrong with him being arrogant, you know, to just show off his character more. Because he's not gonna, Tomato's not gonna like that. If you're up to no good, I'll have to stop you. In fact, I could see Tomato saying something before Lemon about that. And then Lemon following with that comment about their meddling leaving a sour taste in his mouth. Because he's the rage one. He is going to be the one right there being like, how dare you say that? You know. So, in fact, I'm going to switch it up a bit. And I don't know what he's going to say just yet. But it kind of feels weird that Tomato, being the angry boy he is, being quiet at that point when the hero said something so, you know, something so strong. So it won't be about the masterpiece of, obviously, pardon me. So we don't know what it is yet, so we've just put it in brackets. But it's definitely going to be way worse than what Lemon said, that's for sure, because Lemon's not as high on the scale of evil as Tomato. Let's read the dialogue. Now is the time for introverts to rise and shine. Yes, indeed. If the other fruits are all normal, squeeze and squish, and one of them can say something that doesn't even make sense, just sounds horrible, like juice from the inside out. That sounds so gory. It's great. Like, you know, because yeah, that is pretty gory from a fruit's perspective, because inside there's too much people. Tomato, you cannot catch up with me. I do like the ketchup pun, I have to say. I'm fond of that. And let's add it to our pun selection here, because we've got a few puns right here that we haven't inserted into the dialogue yet, but that we would love to have a place for if there's a good place to slot it. But we've kind of been consistently making Blueberry be the pun person. He's kind of become the pun guy now. Mainly because it suits, because Blueberry is a baby and says words wrong anyway because he's a baby. So having him be the one who says the puns, I think, works quite well. We originally had Lemon say, I got a bad peeling, but then I was like, would it fit for an old guy to be like, say something like that? And so we reworded it to Lemon saying it. I mean, Blueberry saying it instead. So let's remind ourselves what National Mars said. Is Tomato kind of a saucy character? As in, like, a flirtatious character, you mean seductive? That would be so weird. But you know the funny thing? One of our community members made a Tinder profile for Tomato not so long ago as jokes. So I guess he does have a secret saucy side. But looking at him, you know, he would probably not be motivated by sex, but teenagers have high hormones, so maybe. But wow, can someone that evil be interested in that kind of thing? I sometimes wonder. Lemon would rather be zesty, I guess. Someone had a zest pun yesterday, actually. Give me your zest shot, which could be perfect for Blueberry saying after lemon or something. So let's get that in. Like Lemon could say something like, I'll give it my best shot. And Blueberry would be like, zest shot. Or something that works, you know, to a similar degree. Because the character that we have for Lemon, he definitely isn't the guy that'd be using puns. He's a stoic guy, he's serious. And I think context with puns is important. I think we said that a few streams ago. Okay. Probably wouldn't say gimme. Like, he'd probably just say, we might simplify that sentence for Blueberry if we do that one, but it's always good to just get the ideas. I mean, I don't know if we'll use all of these, but I just like to get everything down and considered, because you never know, could be a perfect place for them somewhere. I'm going to reread what National Mars says in a sec, because I think it could be appropriate for the arrogant thing Tomato's going to say, but I'm going to catch up with chat first. Witty Pants, what are you working on? Hi Witty Pants, feel free to ask any questions. We make a 2D RPG here and we're doing dialogue today. And all going well, if we make good progress today, we might be starting the scene stuff tomorrow. We might be turning it into a scene tomorrow, but if not, it'll definitely be Thursday. I think before the end of the week we're going to have a stream where we begin making the scene. But if you'd like to find out more about the project, we do have a website. Anybody at all who's interested in that, looking at that. But another good place to go is our YouTube, because there's all the streams go on there. So if you've missed a stream, or you're new here and you want to see what we've done in earlier streams, you can have a peek at those. We've also got the story so far, sneak peeks and lore discussions on there, and they will gradually grow into a series once there's more videos of those as well, because there's only one in each. There's only one lore video so far and one story so far video, but there'll be another story so far video later this month, I think. I'm a game developer too. I do 3D stuff. Oh, cool, awesome. Very out of my comfort zone 3D, but I find 3D stuff gorgeous. So I'm always in awe when I see people character models and environments and stuff. It's a skill I'd love to have learned, but again, it's getting the time, isn't it, to learn a new skill, especially when you're so busy working on other projects as well. You can only do so much. Should Lemon try to get out of an argument, he say, I only said it in zest or jest, yeah. Or, he could say, and Blueberry could follow with the pun. Let's get that in as well. Okay. I don't know if buffoon's the best word there, but it was the only one I could think of for that Carol sentence. There might be more. I'll probably think about improvements once I've done the scene though. juice them from the inside out is what they'll be probably doing to Rose, you know, because she is the final ingredient and they want her blood, so yeah, that's what they'll be doing to her. Ooh. You could say it there. We're going to juice her from the inside out, something really gross. We've got to get in the teen speak now. Teen speak time. What? Gonna juice her from the inside out. So I don't know if that's teen lingo enough. With Tomato, he's our teenager. He's our teenage monster. Horrible, 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 evil piece of poo-poo. That's what Tomato is. You thought I was going to say a swear then, didn't you guys? I looked up fruits to paint with. Elderberries work well. They could call Rose an elderberry even if she's a young vampire. Tear off their rind. Is that rind? Rind? I don't even know how to say that. TeamSpeak, no thanks. I use Ventrilo. I don't even know Ventrilo. Guys, I'm showing my naivety now. Tomato must have an evil moustache. He can't even grow a moustache. He's one of those teenage boys that wishes he had one, but couldn't. He'd have to have it drawn on him. Okay, we do have an evil moustache character in our game. Elite's character, the Prime Minister. He's got a moustache. He's your typical moustache twirling villain, so we do have one in the game. We haven't met him yet, by the way, but he is a future character. Okay, so that's an interesting point, giving Rose the name of a fruit. As long as it doesn't... My only fear with that is that it wouldn't... For the people that don't understand about the whole elderberry thing, they might not get the reference and they'd get confused about why she's being called an elderberry. So it would have to kind of be worded in a way, I suppose, where it isn't confusing, because that's a fact I didn't know. I've just said make it sound more gory and horrible in brackets because I wouldn't lie. I know I'm interested in stretching that sentence even more from Tomato to make him sound like a complete maniac. So also that means we don't need to have super long amounts of text in one go from Plum. We can break it up, which is always a good thing to do. Sorry guys, there's a fly in my face, so I'm going like that. And then Plum can speak again. Also, I usually write my notes in red boxes, so can't spell. And tear off that. I'm going to be an idiot here and define that word just so I know what it means. Is it a bomb? Aye. The tough outer skin of a certain fruit, especially a citrus fruit. Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought it was a human butt. I've got problems, guys, thinking it's that. My goodness me. I'm obviously loud. What can I say? So so if it's a fruit, would that, do you mean that's what one of the fruits say? I'm trying to think here. Or do they mean it about Rose? Even though she's not a fruit, they see her as a fruit sort of thing. Okay. Unhorrible. So that way we can get it out the dialogue box. I mean, it's fine as it is. I'd be satisfied with that. But if we can potentially push into something really gory, we're showing off Tomato's sick, twisted character even more there. Your friend is the fine ingredients we need to bring our masterpiece to life. We're going to juice it from the inside out. Yeah, it's just more battle cries. Yeah, I'm tempted to add the rind word here somewhere, because it kind of could work, but I want to make sure it makes sense, obviously. Okay. So now Plum would probably continue with what he says, but Apple could also, you know, I want to kind of get Apple in here to show that he's different as well. We're neglecting Apple. We are neglecting Apple, aren't we? He's barely spoken. So we need to like make sure he gets involved. And I think the opportunity for Apple to get involved is when things start getting a little bit too violent. He's the one to be like, okay, calm down. So for those that don't know about Apple, I'll just expand on Apple here. Apple is the fruit that's lowest on the scale of evil. That doesn't mean he's a pure Samaritan, by the way. It just means he's the least evil of these guys. And basically, Apple is torn between his loyalty to his fruit friends and his own conscience. The other fruits are evil and he is not so much. So he has loyalty to these fruits, Apple does, and that's ultimately why he's still with them despite their evilness, and why he will still be fighting in the battle with us, because he has loyalty to the fruits. I do wonder if the choices, we could really push these further, and depending on what you pick, the battle differs slightly in terms of stats that the fruits have. Like, for example, picking the bravery one, if you're not up to no good, I have to stop you. Tomato's rage would be through the roof with that sort of comment. And he could be even more powerful in battle than he would have been if you pick one of these. But these ones could also have drawbacks too, because we don't want to make that one too unfair either. You know, just if we wanted to stretch it that bit more and make the choices, you know, have a bit more impact. But they still might have impact, we just don't know yet. Maybe in some of the later quests, the choices here could affect things. All the fruits could be married to the fruit puns, and then Tomato just flat out says something normal that a berserker would say. Married to the fruit puns, what do you mean by that? But yeah, he's a berserker, that's for sure. And thank you, Con, for the follow, I appreciate that. This little water bottle keeps like grabbing my ulcer. It's pretty gross. Okay, obviously that's not the text we're gonna have. By the way, that was Apple's old text. Because really it's not very smart, Tomato, saying that, because the fruits kind of want to fool us at this point and not reveal their motivations, their real motivations anyway. But the way Tomato's acting like the berserker he is, he's kind of like showing that, yeah, we're really bad, we're evil, or at least he is. I think Plum could carry on and be the one who lies now. Definitely not Apple. Apple wouldn't be the liar. And it just makes sense for Plum to continue being the intelligent one who explains everything. So he'd go on to say, I don't even know if friend is the best word there. I'm going to put a question mark. Because she's not, Rose isn't exactly the party's friend. I mean, we've only got her with us so she can be sacrificed. It's a bit premature to be calling her a friend. Like, use her seeds to plant our future. Use her pulp and toss the rest. That sounds so gory and good. Make her puree. Thinking twice, like there's plenty of awful fruit and vegetable-based meanings. To say, yeah, and I love that. You're really good at knowing these. National. I think what it is, my mind is so pure that I can't even think of gory descriptions. I'd have to get really out of character to come up with them, because even fruit gore is still pretty gross for my sweet imagination. But I like them a lot, you know. I'm actually gonna list them here. I'm gonna make this box another colour. What colour boxes have we used for our puns again? I think we just used white ones, didn't we? We'll actually change it to a yellow one though. Just because, is that green or yellow? Just so we don't get mixed up between them and the actual normal dialogue boxes. And I like these a lot, and I think we could easily steal some of these, especially for Tomato, because we really want to show off his real twisted side, you know. And if we can get these gory descriptions in for him, it just will make him better, you know. I definitely like the pulp one. Love it. I love it. Simple and gross, which is exactly what I had in mind for this. I'll be having a break shortly just to get a snack, but I want to do a bit more. I want to do more first. Okay. And some of these, like, we can always put them in the other branches as well, because of course there's going to be plenty of, we have to reveal Rose what we're doing to her in the others as well. It might be in a different way how it's all comes out, but it'll all lead to the same thing. so we can always use some of them for that as well. We're going to choose her from the inside out. Your friend is a finding. Okay, so this was the bit we was trying to change, and I was putting on my thinking cap to think of how to word this without making it sound too wordy and boring. Like, I was just, honestly, this was what I had in mind, but I think it might sound overly informative and exposition being thrown, so I'm not sure I like it, but I'm going to get it in anyway, and we can always alter it. Yeah, it's our goal bit too exposition-y. I don't know if that's how it's spelt. XB. Oh, it is. I did it right. Wow, my tummy's doing a big old rumble. Don't get it. I had lunch literally just before stream, and yeah, I'm hungry already. Yeah, I think it is. I personally think it is, and I'd like to make that a little bit more, be a bit smarter with that one. Or, you know, Apple could say this. I'd have thought maybe this could literally be what Apple wants, but it's not what the others want. The others are far more nefarious with their goals. So it could even work that Apple explains it and genuinely believes that's what he wants to do. Hello comics, thank you so much for that raid. I appreciate that. How are you guys doing? How was your stream? Shout out to Hello Comics. How was your stream? I see you were doing some science and technology. What were you up to today? And thank you for dropping by here in my little channel. Appreciate that. Hi Real, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream, guys. Hope your Tuesday is going well, folks. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to ask. What we're doing today is dialogue. I use this little app here. It's called Draw.io. I use it to do all my dialogue branches, and this is what I always do before putting the actual scene together in the program that we use, which is RPG Maker. So we're getting there. We're getting towards that latter half of the scene now, and we've had some really cool ideas. We're getting there for sure. It's been a lot of fun today. Greetings, thanks for the mention. Just doing some temple scene for my 2D platform. Oh, that sounds fun. That sounds lots of fun. I hope it's been productive and cool. And hi Tower as well, welcome. But yeah, thanks for bringing your community over here. I appreciate that. So guys, don't forget to give Hello Comics a follow. You know, we've got our game dev fans here, of course. But yeah, I hope your game's going well. And for those that want to know more about what I do here, that have come in here for the first time, these are the commands that are the most important ones. I've got this fly in my face. It keeps flying in my face. Go away. So it's our YouTube. That's where we upload all the important stuff. All our videos and information. And also our website as well. We'll tell you more. Thank you, Markham, for the follow. How are you doing? Welcome. I appreciate the follows, guys. Can you say what is the process of the game in percentage? Oh, right, good question. But we don't really have a percentage because we keep this a very improvised experience as we go along. Very, very similar to how a D&D campaign would work. You do the story gradually unfolds and the world gradually unfolds as we develop it. Because this is an episodic game, we're working on episode 1. We're still pretty early on in the game. This actual scene here is scene 9 in episode 1. And it's once we get enough content, we want to get a bit enough content in episode 1, we'll start thinking of a release date. And I like it in this style, it keeps it things exciting, takes the pressure off as well, rather than be like, yeah, we're 20% through it now, because in all honesty we don't know how far we are through it. We don't know the scope and how ambitious that I'm going to be quite yet with this project, because it could be even bigger than what I've got in plan already, or it might not be. It's we see as we go, sort of thing. This project looks cool. Thank you. I appreciate the follow. And thanks for hanging out, guys. I will be totally happy to answer any questions, of course, because this is a pretty niche, different thing on Twitch. It's a community project that we do together. I build it, but chat has huge input. They super help come up with ideas about where to take anything at all, really. The characters, the world, the plot, and if we ever get like a ton of ideas or conflicting ideas on things, we tend to put up polls, and that's always super fun to see what tops the vote. And we'll always end up with the best idea then, so hopefully we end up with a really cool game. But yes, this is our dialogue tree that we're currently working on, and if you do want to have a nosy, I've got a command for that as well, but I do think you have to open the app to see it. It's very organised, good thought is being put into it. Yeah, thank you, Con. And with projects like this, that's what it's about. You kind of I have to make sure I'm managing this and organising this well, because it could very much get out of hand. So but it's going really well so far. We recently hit a milestone, over 100 streams a month or so ago. We hit that big milestone. But if you were going to ask me how many streams there's going to be, my goodness, that we don't know. That's just it. But I will tell you what, we're only at the tip of the iceberg. We're only at the tip of the iceberg with this project. So it's impossible to say with this percentage through it and that, because we just don't know the scope at this stage of what it's going to be. So very much the best way I can describe it is like a D&D campaign. Everything unfolds as you play, as you design it. What's the software you're working with? This particular app here, or the actual game engine I'm using? Okay, so I still need to get my snack. I've got such a rumbly tummy, but I get so into this, and I don't. When I get into it, I don't want to get up from my seat. But I'm one of these people that get hungry every 2 hours, which is always a challenge. Hi Van, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well, Van. Thanks for stopping in. RPG Maker MV. Yes, RPG Maker is the program we use. I have a command for that as well, guys. But this actual app here in the background behind me is draw.io. I just like using this one for dialogue stuff. It's the easiest one to use out of all the ones I've seen. Is that stream avatars we are seeing? It is real. These basically, it's a good question as well. These characters that you see down here are characters, community characters. They're people from the stream who have a character in the game. As you can see, my character's there, Rose Rainblood. That's me. That's my character, and she's actually in this cutscene as well. She's here, but there's a lot of these guys we haven't even met yet. They're future characters to still come in the game, because I like to introduce the cast slowly. I don't want to just have a bunch of characters thrown at you all at once. Some might not even make their appearance until much later episodes, but some might be coming into it soon as well. So yes, there are community characters in the game. Basically, the website goes into more detail, but once you get enough raindrops in our stream, which is our stream currency, by the way, you can actually see how many you've got by doing that. Once you've got enough, it's currently 500 we have it as at the moment. Once you've got those 500, you can fill in a character form and have your very own character in the game. And that's who these guys are. So all the people who've been hanging out today, just like stream avatars, it's basically stream avatars, yes. And I've just modified it so it can be the actual community characters. I wouldn't expect to see me until at least part 2, yes. And I have got those character sheets to do, Dave, and I greatly apologise. It's been such a long time since it's been so long since that I've not done those character sheets. But it is on the agenda. You're, I believe, the second one on the list, actually, Dave. Fantasia's is first, and then it's yours. So you guys are the ones that will be coming up next. And I want to get those done as well, not just because I want you guys to obviously get your character on the stream and see your character finally, but also because I want to see if there's a good part to slot you guys into the story soon as well, because once we finish this scene with the fruits, we will kind of be moving on to another thing, and we'll be going back to Lakefall, but there'll be the opportunity to potentially insert some of you into the game, you know. And yeah, it all depends on if there's a place for you. Obviously, if you're from the desert, or you're from the snowy mountains, your character that you've made, you're not going to appear into the game until we reach a place that is like that. It all depends if there's a place for the character, for sure. Hi Moser, is that? Welcome to the stream. How are you doing? What is this program? This is draw.io, guys. It has changed its name though to diagrams.net. It's strange. So this is the program I use for doing the dialogue. Whenever I'm working on dialogue and story writing and plot development, I always close down RPG Maker and I just use this because we don't need RPG Maker, which is our engine. We don't need that open while we're doing this. It just is distracting to have the engine open. I used to actually work directly in the engine in the very early days when writing dialogue. I'd put it all straight into the engine, and that was so bad because it's so much better to know what you're doing and get it all out planned and written first, and then once you're happy with it, put it all into the engine afterwards. I found that's kind of my way of doing it. Everybody's different. I'll never say, oh, that's not the right way, you shouldn't do it like that, because everybody works in their own way that is best for them, but this is the way I like to do it. Hi Rex, how are you doing? Just coming in there, sneaking in. How are you? I need to write up my character. Yeah, so much to do. Yeah, and no rush, even if you've got the 500 raindrops and you haven't done your character form yet, don't panic. It's not like I'll be closing them and I'll be like, no, it's too late now. All the characters in the game, it's all over. You missed your chance. You've got, you know, you could wait until 2021 to fill it in if you wanted, because like I said, you know, this is a very ongoing project, and some of the characters, a lot of them won't even appear in episode 1. We don't want to just stuff everybody in there, you know, that wouldn't be smart. Everybody's going to come in at their own time when there's a place for them in the plot, or whenever, you know, the character you've got written would suit coming in, like you think, yeah, this is the perfect place to slot them into the story. And in the meantime, they'll just be sitting there waiting until the best time for them to come in the game is. Yeah, having an overall view makes it easier to adjust. And hi Mars, how are you doing? Thank you for the follows as well, guys. I appreciate that. I super appreciate it. I'm doing well. Yay! How is work going, Grex? RPG Maker not having any dialogue planner? They don't know. Not that I'm aware of anyway. They just have like an actual in-program editor thing where you put all your events. But it's not really... The thing with our game is that we've got branching paths. And it would be a lot easier to probably just put it straight into RPG Maker if it was all linear. But as you can see, we've got here, this is where the paths are split into 3 because the heroes had a dialogue choice and everything's split, and that's why we've got here compassion route, wisdom route, and a bravery route. So that's where things can kind of get a bit complex with the dialogue, and we need a good piece of software that lets us just get it all out there in a good visual way and not be too confusing and messy. It's kind of quiet today, which I'm okay with. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. Always good to have a chill day. And thank you for the follow as well, Mars. The bot just ratted me out. Yes, it does. Our brain robot is super friendly. I used to have a follow thing pop up on the stream, but it got a bit much. So I just have the bot say it now. Have you tried Twine for playing dialogue? Did you not like it? Yes. Twine was one that I looked into. And I prefer Draw.io simply because it's a little bit more flexible in terms of how you can make it look visually. I really am fond of sticking the sprite on the dialogue box just for visual reasons, really. There's not really any reason to put the sprite on top of the dialogue box, but it's just easier to see who's talking for me and for the community to see who's talking, because just imagine we didn't have these and we just had the basic white boxes. That's boring, right? I mean, but like, who's Lemon? Who's Carol? Like, Lemon? What, a blueberry? Who are these? But like, I just think it's just more interesting. You guys get curious about the characters and you're like, oh cool, those are their sprites. And especially because we don't have RPG Maker up at the moment, which is our visual, obviously you'll see all the scene if we did. So especially because we don't have it up, it's even more reason to just put the sprites there so there's a context to who's saying what, and you can actually see these characters then, and it's not just white boring boxes. So it's just a design sort of visual way I like to present it, I guess. And I don't think Twine lets you do that. I think you got to just have the boxes and nothing else. But I did like it. It was very organised and easy to sort of move things on the screen, I have found. But it was just that it was lacking for me, just simply because I like sticking the sprite there. Okay, so we had some really cool gory fruit related dialogue lines here, because we made a Scale of Evil last week. This is it, guys, because I really like to get into detail with characterization, and these are our first boss of the game. There's a group of them that's the first boss, so you'll be fighting them all together. This is how they'll look in the battle in this formation, basically. Up in the middle, that's exactly how they'll be. And we will be working on that battle as soon as we finish the scene. We'll probably spend a good week or two making sure that battle is super good. once we finish the scene. So there's actually a scale of evil with fruit baddies. They're not all super evil. There's a difference. Some of them are not so bad, but some of them are downright scary. Like Tomato, he's super evil. And this was actually a community poll we put up as well. I put up a poll asking you guys to vote for which ones you wanted as the most evil. And I think it's right here actually. Yeah, here it is. It's right here, so I could get it up quickly for you. These were the votes, and everybody wanted Apple as the nice one, and everybody wanted Tomato as the really evil one. So Blueberry was shortly following, so we made the scale of evil from those poll results. It was lots of fun. It's always exciting to stare at the poll results and see how everything's doing. So yes, for that reason, because Tomato is the most evil, we need to make the dialogue that he says super monstrous and horrible. Because at the moment he's like too nice. Well, he isn't nice, he's still an asshole, but he's not enough of a monster, to put it bluntly. He's just a bit of a spoilt teenager right now. But I'm trying to stretch it and make him say some pretty twisted stuff. And we got some really gory fruit descriptions that are probably ideal for Tomato to say whenever we have a good place to put them in the dialogue. Do you also do the art, or are there more people on the project? Well, I'm the only one. I'm the only one that's actually building this. So of course I need to not spread myself too much, because that gets overwhelming. So for that reason, the majority of assets are not mine. We take them from free resources off the internet, but there's a bit of a problem with that, because we have quirky characters in our game. We come up with all sorts of ideas, like fruits, barrels, living barrels. I mean, here they are. Living barrel characters right here. So the fruits aren't the only strange bunch of characters we got. We got these guys too, and these are my original characters I've done myself, because you cannot, if you Google living sentient barrel with a sexy face wearing a bra, you're not going to find you're not going to find an asset that's free to use like that. So when you have to be creative, yeah, I do my own assets then. But for your obvious simple things like your trees and paths and grass and fences and general NPCs as well that aren't super creative, they're like already existing assets. But I think, I do that mainly. I made a decision to not do all the art myself, simply because it would burn me out, guys. I already do everything else. So I've got to be sensible and not so arrogant that I think I can do it all, because that would be arrogant. And I'm not saying that people can't, because there are people out there that do it all themselves, but those guys are magicians. Let's face it, those guys are magicians. So yes, some of them are my own originals, because I got to, in certain situations, create my own if we want to get super quirky and creative. But in most circumstances, I'll just find a free resource to use if it's something simple. And yes, I think it's nice to have these original silly characters. It gives a bit of uniqueness to the game, art-wise at least, that wouldn't be there if we didn't have them and just stuck with all default or vanilla resources. Tomatoes are evil? I knew it. They are evil. It's because they're told they're vegetables instead of fruits. He felt left out because all the others are considered fruits, and he is apparently a vegetable, but he's not. He's a fruit. But people are mean, aren't they? Poor Tomato. And hi, how are you managing the audio assets? Oh, that's a good question too. Free resources, normal sound effects that you hear. I tend to use freesounds.org and similar websites. I'm not gonna lie, you can easily spend hours trying to find the perfect sound, but it's worth it because sound makes such a difference to the game and immersion. So it's worth it, and you can get a lot of really bad sounds, and I like to make sure I find at least a good one. So yeah, just websites like that, and we're gonna have a huge credits page for all this stuff as well eventually. And I've got my notepad file where I found all of the stuff. So our credits page is probably going to be a bit beefy in the game. It's not going to just have Rose Rainblood on there. It's going to have a lot of community members who have helped. Their names will be there, and as well as all the free resources I've found. But as for music, I found a really cool composer that allows you to use his stuff, and the music really fits for our game. So that's who I'll be using for music. And there's enough. There's not thousands of tracks, hundreds of tracks. So got plenty of choice for that as well. Hi, I'm Gracie. Welcome, Grace. How are you doing? Welcome to stream. Sorry about being so late saying hi. I can get really, on a conversation and never shut up. Hello, Meryl. Yes, look at Meryl. She is the one. She is the sexy lady, right? But some people prefer Carol. I've had people come in and say that Carol's their lady, which is totally fine by me because Carol is our MVP. Carol the Barrel is technically the main character of the game. We do have a hero, you. It's the player, it's the hero, but he's a bit of a blank slate. The hero's custom is, he only speaks when you have a dialogue choice. He'll never speak off his own back. So when you look at dialogue, and for example, you've got hero here and you've got the choices. This sort of thing is the only time when the hero speaks, when you're given a choice. So, the plot doesn't really revolve around him. He's more of an observer. Carol is really our main character when you think about it, because the story is following her really. I do have a story so far video, guys, so if you are new here and you are intrigued what's happened, it's only 2 minutes long and it does talk about the story so far, but we have done so much since then, because that video was released in December, and we have a lot more stories since then. So I need to finish this scene first because this is important, but once this is done, I'll be making a second story so far video, and there'll be a lot more story stuff then, because there has been so much that's happened since then. So we're definitely due for a new one, but I really want this scene to be in there as well, in that story so far video, so it'll be done once this is done. And hi Twisted Mouse, how you doing today? I just want to protect Olive. Yeah, he's a cutie pie, isn't he? Because in our first story so far video, we've only mentioned Carol and Rose as well. Rose has been mentioned. I feel like I got a burp, but it's not coming out. Rose has been mentioned too, and we kind of get the plot that's going on a bit. But all these characters as well have come into it since, in a flashback, not in the actual present day, as well as the fruits. So there's so much to talk about in the next video, so I'm excited to do that. But yeah, I'm glad you like Oliver, Twisted Mouse. He's meant to be the adorable one, so yay. Okay. And thank you, Grace, as well, for the follow. I appreciate that, guys. Righto, guys, I'm going to have a very short break now. Only a few minutes to get a snack. I was meant to have got it ages ago, but I've got super carried away. But feel free to talk amongst yourself, folks, or feel free to ask any questions and I'll answer them when I get back. But in the meantime, I'll leave some awesome Final Fantasy background music on for you. See you soon! I accidentally put the thanks for watching up instead of the be right back, as if I was ending the stream. So there we go. I'll switch the screen. See you in a bit. Back. Okay. This music is lovely. It is, isn't it? This is a Final Fantasy relaxing music playlist, everybody, on the YouTube. 9 hours long. It's always good to listen to on stream. Righty-ho. Okay, so here we are, back to our dialogue. And yes, Carol is the party's inventory. That was originally all she really was. And I feel like she's really come out as a character since then. She's driving the whole plot now at this point, but she feels she's definitely the perfect character to do that because everybody really latched on to Carol. She's extremely popular. So she is, if anyone's going to drive the plot, it would be her. And there's a lot of room there. She's a good character. There's so many themes we could go down. Like, you know, look at her, she's a barrel. You know, there's some interesting philosophical questions that we could have and explore regarding the fact that she isn't really real. Well, she is, but the way she's born isn't biological, and it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of things she hasn't really come to face about herself yet, and her existence. Are you done with your RPG yet? Am I done with my RPG? Zephyrus, come back in another 10 years and I'll be saying, oh yes, we did it and it was a ride. Okay, BRB. 10 years later. Should we pretend? Should we skip 10 years in the future? I totally roleplay that scene. Okay, so right, so I've completely forgot where we were. Right, so we did Plum's dialogue, that was it. And it was far too exposition-y for me. For my liking. Oh yeah, that's not the right. And I want to think of another way to approach that, rather than be so obviously writing down the Plum's goal. Well, their goal as a group. I'm not really the biggest fan of when that's done. We can get it inserted better, I think. But I can't think right now. So for right now I'm going to just put a note here, saying too exposition-y, and that can be something that I change when I have more of an idea how to approach that one. Okay, because this, we got it labelled here. Where is it? Yeah, there. First draft. Feel free to suggest some dialogue ideas and improvements. So this is our first draft. We just put it all just out there at the first. Get it all, the framework there from beginning to end. So it doesn't matter if bits sound really weird or not very natural right now. I think we've done a good job, don't get me wrong. For a first draft, this is pretty good, but you know, there could definitely be room for improvement if we wanted to make it even better. Okay, so let's think what we should do now, because it is a challenge doing all these 3 branches, because it can be a bit overwhelming. So maybe we should, should we first focus on just the bravery one now, or should we move on to another one? Because I feel like we need to get to that same point with these ones. Okay, we could go back to the compassion one. Fruits begin to trust the party and admit the truth. Okay. Let's just look at our puns. I want to see if there's any dialogue boxes that could fit in somewhere here. We got quite a few cool ones that the community has suggested. We can delete that because we kind of covered that now. done yet. Are we 10 years into the future now? Yeah. So 10 years into the future, I know that's a little bit much. And it probably does sound crazy to think I could still be here doing this in 10 years. But I like to, you know, this is kind of epic. I'm not going to lie. And, you know, we don't know what's going to happen in life, and if I have to ever have a small hiatus, and if that delay things. So I definitely don't want to say, oh gosh, yes, it'll be over in a couple of years, because I don't think we will. I mean, we've only been doing this for a year, and we've barely touched the iceberg here with the project. Barely. And thinking that the game could be over anytime soon just makes me giggle, because it's just nowhere near. And I'm not even lying when I say, I kind of say 5 years is a good one to say that we'll still be doing this. 10 years might be a bit much, but you never know. You never know. Anything can happen. I don't have any deadline or dates for this. We just do it. We just do it and have fun. Keeping it fun is important. The more fun we're having, the more fun I'm having, the longer, the healthier for its longevity, and the more likely it's going to last long. Okay. I've got my focus on, guys, so I might have a few silent parts here and there while I'm thinking of where to take this, because when things aren't linear, things suddenly get a bit more complicated. So we got to say something arrogant evil. Could always say the puree line here. Well, something like maybe we'll say, because that could work for Rose as well. In all honesty, from this point here, this middle path, these two paths could always meet at this point. Because I might be going a bit over the top with the branches. You know, they will have to meet at some point. And, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I've got nothing planned today, guys. This is completely me jumping into the deep end today here. So, I'm doing all my thinking on stream. Once upon a time, I'd never have done that. I'd been way too nervous to do an unplanned writing stream because it's daunting. But no, I always do that now. I don't even care. My shy days are over. Right. So what's the difference? Let's just double check, because we don't want to merge the paths if different stuff's going to be said. So yeah, we have done that bit. We've done the thanking. And then I just need to mention that she's the important component of their masterpiece, which is basically what Plum said here, which is why I was thinking of like making that carry on from there and merge the two. And then it says, this leads to the party asking more questions, and when they find out the fruits are up to, a battle begins. Further questioning leads to some suspicious responses. The party find out what they're really up to, and a battle begins. See what I mean? They're pretty much the way I've got it written there. No, we don't have to rigidly go with this outline. If we wanted to make it more interesting, we could. But the way it's currently written, bravery and wisdom root kind of go the same. And compassion does as well. Like, you know, they all end in a battle. That's inevitable because they're the first boss. You can't avoid them. But it's slightly a bit different because we gain their trust in the compassion route. And it's only when they reveal their evil deeds that we're like, no, we can't accept that. They do open up to us more in the compassion route and actually are honest about their real plan, whereas they lied in this route. I'm more worried about doing something on stream bad. How do you mean something on stream bad, Zephyros? As in like screwing up or making a mistake? Or is that what you mean? Oh, you mean burping or mindless scratching? Oh, right, that's what I meant. I thought, do you mean like a mistake, or do you mean like doing something like, yeah. I guess it depends how self-conscious you are about your work. Like, if you are, then you're more likely to find daunting to do a stream unplanned, a creative stream unplanned. And like I said, I might have been like that in my early days. But I'm kind of, the more I've done this, the less that I plan, which says a lot, because that means I've got more confident to just improvise things on a stream. Whereas before, I would have been like, no, I've got a plan, I've got to do something before the stream. That thought of doing an unplanned stream would have freaked me out. I'd have been like, hell no, I'm gonna just sit there with a blank face, not knowing what I'm doing. But I kind of just do it now. It's weird. It's strange. This is all action, in my opinion. Seeing the decisions get made is fascinating. And where else do we get to the sort of stories decisions get made raw like that? Good point, National. This is what it is. It's raw. Like, you're watching me be as clueless as ever. Well, it's not like I'm clueless, but I'm like here, and my brain, the brain gears are getting working, should I say. And that is quite, you know, can be a daunting thing to do, because like I say, I wouldn't usually want to do that. I'd have been too self-conscious. I'd have thought, you know, I want to make sure I've at least got a plan and I know what I'm doing so I don't look like an idiot. But now I just find my attitude's different, and I'm like, but you know, we just do it. Yeah, I like that we have multiple routes. Yeah, me too, Azriel. I'm always fond of RPGs that do that rather than linear. Not that I don't like linear RPGs, because Final Fantasy VII's one of my favourites, and Final Fantasy in general, which are very linear. Final Fantasy games are linear, and this isn't. So we're kind of more inspired by Western RPGs because they kind of are more known for their branching paths more than JRPGs. And I'm not saying JRPGs don't do it. Persona, I believe, kind of do it. Do they? Or is it linear? I've only played one Persona game, so I don't know. But yes, I get excited by different branches. I think it's a big replayability factor, and it's just a hell of a lot of fun. For me anyway. And yeah, it can be a bit like, oh wow, loads of stuff to do. You do have to think, that's for sure, when it's not linear. Your brain goes like that more. but it's worth it, it's worth it because it's more exciting to think for the different branches. And I mean, this is a very early scene in the game, and this is probably basic compared to what we'll be doing when we get more experienced at this. And I'm pretty proud of that I'm giving this a go. Final Fantasy, never heard of. Hi Moonshadow, how you doing? Good to have you back to the stream. So Twitch is so strict at times. I don't wear shirts at home much. So if you were streaming to first, you'd be shirtless then, yeah, you'd get banned. You'd get banned immediately. Can't be showing those nips. Just banned. Like, I'm risking it showing my shoulders, aren't I? To be honest, I'm surprised I'm not being reported already. Let me know multiple playthroughs and change things a little. Yeah, some JRPGs have branching options, but from my experience, the main story is at least normally set. Yeah, and look at me. This is the main story, and I'm doing branching paths. Do you think I'm being ambitious, guys? Do you like it? Are you proud of me? That I'm going all out. I mean, this is a set scene. This is our first boss fight. And okay, it's unavoidable that we're going to fight them because they're our first boss. It would be really cool, like, I'm not going to lie, it would be pretty cool if you could avoid them if you did something a certain way. But so we are kind of, the fact is they all are going to end at the same thing, that we still fight the boss no matter which one you pick. But like you say, you're kind of tied to that with the main story, because main stories are hard to not make linear. But you can if you think a bit outside the box. And that's why I said I wouldn't refuse stretching this a bit further, and the boss battle being a bit different based on which route you went down out of compassion, bravery and wisdom. Like, different stats, like Tomato, for example. If you went for this one, you got him riled up, more rage, full of rage, so he'd have a buff, maybe a rage buff. But at the same time, we don't want to make that too punishing. That route, it should have an advantage as well for picking that route, and compassion and wisdom might have something that makes them not as ideal either. I wouldn't say no to stretching it a bit further rather than just simply making the dialogue a little bit different for each of them. That's just the most basic way we could handle it. We could definitely go further. I report Rose every few days for shoulder streams. I do it a lot. I'm always showing my shoulders. I'm bad for that. Oh, my Rose showing shoulders, naughty. You have shoulders, terms of selfish joke. Yeah, I die. I'm bad. I'm really bad. Go on, report me, guys. I deserve to be gone for showing my shoulders. I say go for it. My first game attempt was supposed to be a linear text adventure, and I finished up with 12 endings. Oh, really? See what I mean, Asriel? You can get really... I always am so tempted to stretch it more. Like, I always knew that this was going to be choice-based from the start. That was always the plan. But every time I do dialogue, I find I want to stretch it even more and more and go crazy with what the difference is. Because I just really want to make the consequences matter in this game. There's so many games out there that are like, choices and consequence. Like, they label their game as that, but really there isn't really much difference. And I kind of want to say that, but keep to the promise. I think that would be a great appeal, you know, because I really get excited about that. So I believe I can do that, for sure. Multiple endings are great, yeah. And like I say, not just side quest, main story too. Like you say, a lot of, as Riel said, JRPGs have done it, but it's usually not the main quest. The main quest usually stays a bit more linear. I reported Rose to the authorities for stealing my heart. You sweet talker. And you stole mine, Rex. Yeah, I think Rex has stole everybody's. It's not possible for him to not. Good naughty meter. Rex bringing the cheese to the stream as always, yes. What if Courage unlocked a dialogue option that you could pick to enrage Tomato, making him take 50% more damage? Oh, that's interesting. So, because I think it'd be really good, because for the choices to affect the boss battle slightly, depending on the path that you picked. But yes, it's about balancing, isn't it? It's so easy to just say, yeah, Tomato can just have an attack buff if you pick that and get him mad. Because he gets really mad. We've even got in brackets says something arrogant evil, we don't know what yet, but it's there. Because the hero's being a bit cocky here with this response. Tomato doesn't like that. It clashes with him. So yeah, it's easy to just say, yeah, give him an attack buff for that, but you know, off could be not balanced is the risk. But making him deal or take 50% more damage, yeah, it's fine. It's making the right decision, isn't it? Because I'm not the best when it comes to stat stuff and anything that involves maths and all that. That is my one light weakness, which is unfortunate because it's an RPG. We're gonna have that stuff. I think I'll get better as I get more experienced at it. We're still very early on and we've hardly explored. We've not explored many battles yet. We've had a little play around with it because we've had enemies in the Everbloom Forest, but we haven't had the opportunity to really challenge ourselves yet. So it's something that you opt into rather than feeling like you got punished for picking one or the other. So what about some kind of speed buff because he catch-ups? That's funny, yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing. I think Dave is right. We don't want to make the player feel like, oh, I didn't even know that would punish me, because that's frustrating. Like, the player isn't going to know that picking that option would punish him, and it kind of can pee some people off if they feel they're getting punished, and it could annoy them and make them not want to play the game and get annoyed at the choices. So it's about the way we approach it. So when you say something you opt into, what exactly, I want to just make sure I've got an understanding of that. So a dialogue option that you could pick to enrage Tomato, making him deal. So a dialogue option, so if you got an example, I want to kind of visualise that. I kind of get where you're going, but I want to make sure I understand it properly and I don't misunderstand, because it sounds pretty cool from what I'm gathering. But yeah, I'm bad with descriptions, especially when I first read them. I'm going to make a note of it anyway, Dave, because sometimes just looking again on reading it after helps. Okay, so that's something to consider. I mean, we're not at the battle yet. We will be doing the battle once we finish this scene. So for sure, things like that will have to be considered then. But it doesn't hurt to sort of mark if it's going to give a buff or boost either. If we decide we want to think about that right now, it'd be probably quite sensible to plan ahead. But what are their stats? I'm curious now. Let me just read. Tomato has the attack. lemon defense, apple agility. Yeah, so they've all got their own special stat buff that they're best at. And the battle itself, because we did almost finish the first phase of the battle, and one thing I noticed about this battle as we did it is that balancing was a real challenge, because these 5 fruits, it's 5 against 2. Yeah, 5 against 2, because it's only the hero and Rose in this fight. They're the only 2 part members. Carol doesn't fight, she's not a playable character, but it's a hero and Rose, so it's 5 against 2, and it was crazy. The fruits were so OP, and we had to like really mess about with the stats to make sure that we weren't dying so fast, and eventually we did. We got it to a stage where it was very possible to get 3 of them down. It was a challenge, but so there's still a bit more balancing to do with that, but we did get there. So we got to be careful if we do decide to give buffs and to the characters, because it could easily swing the battle to being more difficult again. But we just have to rebalance everything and just do loads of testing and make sure everything was fine for whatever one we did. Something like during the pre-fight dialogue, there's an option. Oh my goodness, Azriel, thanks for the studio bundle. I appreciate that. Humble bundle. Appreciate you getting that on my link, Azriel. That's very kind of you. And I hope you enjoy that. What was that you brought? That you bought? hope it's good. It's super good. I didn't catch it. And let me reread so during the pre-fight dialogue, there's an option, courage. Where'd you get that? Little red guy, he looks like a wimp. And when you pick that, Tomato reacts and gets a red icon like with a message that says he's enraged and dealing and taking more damage. Oh, awesome. So do you mean in the battle or like in this scene here that we're making? Because it could work for either, probably. But if it was in battle, I suppose the player would know that potentially picking that dialogue will enrage him. If it's in the scene, you know, maybe you wouldn't realise that you're going to affect the battle at that point. I'm getting a bit rambly now, but I always do. I'm going to copy and paste that again, David, because I think it's very helpful what you say, and we could totally go with something like that. For sure. One good thing about the current situation in the world and my back pain is that I get to hang out here almost every stream nowadays. I always find the positive things in life. I'll make Rose fed up with me soon enough now. Moon, you're always really an awesome person to have in stream. We'll never get fed up with you. But yes, I hope your back gets better. Like, that really sucks. That super sucks. But you can sit and play games and watch streams. That is something. And no problem, I pick up quite a lot of programming bundles anyway, so I may as well send the money to my Rose. Thank you Azriel, appreciate that. That's very thoughtful of you, because it's so easy to forget the humble bundle stuff, isn't it? You can easily just buy something and think, oh crap, there's a streamer now that has a link, and you know that can happen a lot. Either or, Dave says, oh yeah, so we can do it in the battle if we want, the dialogue, because I don't think I've really explored having choice boxes in battle yet, but I think it's totally doable. I have to have a mess about with that when we get to the battle stage and see. And if I find it doesn't work that successfully, I can always make it happen before the battle begins. We can do it whatever way works best and fits it the most, I guess. But that way is true. It's not like the player will feel punished, because if they know exactly what they're doing, like if it's like giving an insult to the tomato, the player will probably kind of know that it'll affect their stats somehow. Then if we just randomly had it as a consequence of a dialogue option. I feel like, yeah, the dialogue options like this work well well, we'll say, because I do like to, you know, make them have consequences, but I don't want to be punishing, you know. But yes, I do like the idea of having stat differences. But Dave's idea seems cool. So yeah. Okay, so let's carry on. Where were we? Completely forgot which one we was focusing on here. But the icon thing is interesting as well. I like that because it makes it clearer as well. That you've kind of they're affected, and I like that rather than if there was no icon at all. Okay. So I was thinking of like making, so this we're really grateful bit lead to the same thing here, but I don't want to make the bravery route and the wisdom route too similar. I want them to be different at least, and we do have different dialogue at the start, but I don't know. I need to have a think about this one. And this is what I mean when I say that I'd have normally in the past made sure I'd have known all this before my stream. I'd have made sure I was planned. But now I don't. You just see me do it live without any clue. Have you ever played a Shin Megami Tensei 4, Rose? There are lots of mid-combat dialogue interrupts in that game. Oh, right. Well, thank you for the reference, Dave, because I haven't played that game. I know, is it by Persona team? Because I do know of it, and I'm sure you mentioned that when I was playing Persona 5 once. That's where I recognise the name. Hang on, one sec. Accidentally got rid of some of the dialogue in my notepad file. We'll just put it back. But that'll be good because I'll have a look now. I'm going to look into that game and see how they like go about designing that and how it looks in that game, because it's always good to have that reference, that visual reference, something to go off, I find. So I'll have a look and see. And it doesn't mean we're going to copy them, but it could help having that bit of inspiration. So yay! Persona is a spin-off. Oh, is it? Awesome. Is it? I remember you saying it was super good, that series, though. I do remember. I'll scare up some examples and send them your way. Yay, thank you, Dava. We're getting all the inspiration. And yeah, for sure, like, I really like the idea of showing clear inspiration of some games. Like, I want to be inspired by many different RPGs of different styles with Raindrop Chronicles. So people might instantly know if we do go for this sort of thing. They'll be like, oh yeah, that's like the Shin Megami Tensei game. And so yeah, it's cool to like say, yeah, this game's inspired by this game, and for sure, because Raindrop Chronicles definitely will be. It's going to be inspired by many different RPGs. The quests are now, I kind of want it. I'm inspired by The Witcher 3 because I think they did quests best than at most other RPGs I've played. They also really did the choices and consequences well in that game too. Like, some of them are like really, like, things happen and you're like, oh well, oh crap, and you didn't know it was going to happen, but it did. And I'm not going to say what that is because if anyone's not played it, and I don't want to give spoilers. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the compassion route now, because for the wisdom and bravery I was thinking of merging them, but I'm unsure, so I'm going to just put them to the side for a little bit and just return to the compassion route. Okay, so they're going to admit the truth now. We haven't done that bit yet. We've got to do that now. If anyone's going to admit the truth, it's probably going to be Plum. But he didn't trust the party a second ago. He was like, I don't trust you humans. So for him to suddenly like spill his deepest, darkest secrets might be a little bit sudden. So we've got to be careful there. We don't want him to do too much of a 180. But Apple has said, you know, and you know he might, because Apple said he might listen, but might be a bit of a cop-out. So I've got to have a think about that too. But yes, we still got a lot to do. I did get a bit over ambitious and say we were going to finish this dialogue today. But it can be, you know, getting that brain into gear sometimes can be a challenge. But I'm gonna do some tonight, guys. That's for sure. And we might start the scene on Thursday. We might. I think we could. But it's important we make this scene perfect. As perfect as we can get it anyway. We don't want to be like, that'll do. That'll do. And it's very, very like messy, and I'd rather spend the time putting in the thought and just take that little bit longer to do it. Like I've said, it's quality over quantity. And I'd rather have, say, 5 scenes that were like really entertaining and really fun and great than 15 scenes that were just average, you know. So when I think about it like that, it doesn't like kill me to be a bit slower at putting it together, because I always remember that I'd rather have like 5 great fun scenes than 15 average ones. And like I say, this, like I said, dialogue heavy game, I don't like to say that anymore, because it kind of makes it seem like it's just dialogue for the sake of it, and then it's all about quantity, and like I say, quality. So dialogue driven is the word, not dialogue heavy. Right, so I'm gonna revisit some of our dialogue and see, because I'm at a stuck point with this bit. I've got to have a good think about how to handle these branches now, which I'm going to do off stream later. But so we'll go back to some of the easier stuff for now before we finalise the stream today. Right, so where's Blueberry's dialogue? Yeah, this was the one. I wasn't sure about we. We is not bad, but I was thinking, could there be more cute words? So I'm going to Google. I'm going to do this on my phone so I can keep this scene up. Baby words. And I'll add some to the list. And we could always put a poll up for something like this. Okay, so what's the most adorable possible word for Blueberry to say? And then whatever tops the poll will be the one we use. We might use it a few times, because it's important. Blueberry needs to be adorable as possible, but you know, so he shocks people when he shows he's not adorable. I'm not finding any right now. There's got to be more than just we. See, I never spend time with babies. I'm very inexperienced when it comes to babies, so I don't know any baby words. Right, I'll look at this later as well. Does it have to be a word? Can it be a sound like blah blue? I suppose it could. Yeah, like either really. It's honestly what works the best in the dialogue box. Whatever just has the best flow and sounds good and natural and, you know, not just forced. So either, you know. And I'm trying to think of fictional baby-like characters in games so I could watch a cutscene and see how they speak, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'm gonna put that one in national because it's B, blah blue, and I don't know, that fits blueberry because it sounds a bit like blueberry. So and it's kind of cute. So, because we is literally the most basic of words that Blueberry could say. So, although we got it there in the dialogue box for now, it doesn't mean I'm going to have it there unless it won the poll, of course. But, you know, I like to think, well, explore others and think, can we get cuter? You know, can we get even cuter? And same for other words, like, I just think that the entertainment value can be really increased by just picking better words for things. And another one was this particular line. We got buffoon because that was an obvious word. Buffoon, you know, you smell like a buffoon. It's quite a common one that's used. There could be more amusing ones and more creative ones, that's for sure. It works, but I like to explore and think, could we get even better? So I kind of just make those little notes there to just so you guys know, and so you're aware that what I've got in mind and for what sections, what dialogue boxes I'm actually looking at to improve. Because you guys, it could probably be a bit overwhelming when you look at all of this as a whole and think, well, those are how can we help Rose? We've got so much here. But if I just single things out like this, it might help. But you've been great, National Mars. Thank you for all your awesome ideas. I really liked the descriptions, the gory fruit descriptions. We'll get tomatoes saying some of those. I'm a buffoon. Yeah, buffoon's a good one. I don't dislike the word buffoon. I've always kind of been fond of that phrase, smiling like a buffoon, because I just like the word buffoon, but it's not, it's normal. I'm just thinking, is it a bit cliche? So for that reason, that's why I've got the option to explore other dialogues. Because Carol's super witty, you know, she's witty and she could say, I want her to say something that makes people laugh. You know, she's got to be entertaining. Okay, guys, so it is time. Unfortunately, I never like to say goodbye because I always have fun, but we're probably at a good point to stop because I need to get my focus cap on, get inspired, get my brain into gear, and think about really where to take this scene. And I want to have a think about that after my dinner. And I want to have done quite a bit before we start tomorrow's stream, so I can show you what I've done, and we can finally finalise everything. I think if we can finalise the scene tomorrow and just work on dialogue word improvements and making sentences just sound even better if we can, then that'll be super cool, because that means we can start the scene on the Thursday stream. So I'm going to see who's online for us to say hi to, guys, today. And I don't want to pick a streamer that's going offline, so I'm going to make sure that the person's online. So, Rose Ray Blood, everybody. Are you all ready? Super awesome if you can stop by, say hello. And, right, guys, so I'm gonna go to Willow Scale, because she's always so nice to us, always rates us, so I want to give that back, because she's never usually online still when I finish streaming. So, oh, is she? Damn it. Is she like literally this second? Because I went into a stream and I saw that she was on, but I do know she usually ends. So, if that's the case, if she's going right now, like if she was still streaming for another 10 minutes, I'd just go there anyway. But she's looking for someone to, yeah, if that's the case, never mind. So we'll find somebody else. Let's have a look. Mia's on, so we'll go say hi to Mia. I didn't actually notice her there. So Mia, guys, so I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you for hanging out. Have an awesome rest of your Tuesday.